Former lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria San Ebu Adegburuwa has raised alarm over what he described as a dictatorship in Edo State. Adegburuwa, in an article on Tuesday titled "The Dictatorship in Edo," criticized the state governor Godwin Obaseki of running a one-man show in the governance of the state. He explained that Obaseki was yet to appoint any commissioner or special advisor and has rendered the State House of Assembly comatose. The article read, "Believe it or not, Edo State is currently under the yoke of dictatorship for many months running. Prior to his election for his second term in office, His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki had dissolved his cabinet comprising commissioners and advisors. He became more of a lone ranger, trudging along with his deputy, Comrade Philip Shaibu, in the run-up to the elections. This was after he had successfully emasculated the House of Assembly of the state through the courts. We all thought then that it was going to be a temporary malady, but we now know better. We have a governor who is running riot with democracy and good governance, such that over 1 year after his re-election, Governor Godwin Obaseki has no single commissioner and no advisor. He's running Edo State upon his whims and caprices based on his body language or indeed his mood. It is unthinkable that a state blessed with abundant mineral and human resources is being held by its jugular by a single individual who prides himself as a product of global best practices but is deeply immersed in the ugly cocoon of self-rule. How did this happen, and who will rescue our dear Edo State? According to Britannica, Edo State was created in 1991 from the northern portion of the Bende State, the southern portion becoming Delta. Prior to this, in 1963, the citizens of the territory had voted to separate from what was then the Western region, and the Midwest region was created. Going by the 2006 National Population Census, Edo State has about 3,233,366 people. Its capital, Benin City, is the fourth largest city in Nigeria. The state has a total land area of about 17,802 square miles, with an average GDP of about $11.89 billion and per capita of $3,623 US. The state is one of the oil producing states in Nigeria and is very rich in agriculture, both in subsistence and cash crop. It is equally very rich in timber, rubber, and palm oil, with abundant mineral resources like limestone. It has a significant federal presence and is a transit state within the southern states of Nigeria. In 1959, a citizen of Edo State, Pa Anthony Enahoro, moved the motion for the independence of Nigeria from colony rule. This is the same state being ruled by a single individual elected on the platform of the blood and sweat of the people, ably pruded by a comrade as his deputy who should know better. Let me first share with you the provisions of Section 192(1) of the 1999 Constitution. 192(1) says, "There shall be such offices of Commissioner of the Government of a state as may be established by the governor of the state. The governor of a state shall hold regular meetings with the deputy governor and all commissioners of the government of the state for the purpose of a. Determining the general direction of the policies of the government of the state, b. Coordinating the activities of the governor, the deputy governor, and the commissioner of the government of the state in discharge of their executive responsibilities, and advising the governor generally in the discharge of his executive functions. The governor of a state may appoint any person as a special advisor to assist him in the performance of his functions. In the exercise of these appointments, the governor is to observe the principle of federal character in such a way as to ensure that all sections of the state are fairly represented in his cabinet. To all intents and purposes, the Constitution did not envisage a one-man government for any state in Nigeria. Thus, what is going on presently in Edo State is a constitutional anathema that must not be allowed to fester beyond tolerance. The situation in Edo State is made worse by the absence of a functioning legislature. Even before his election for the second term, Governor Obaseki has successfully crippled the Edo State House of Assembly by refusing to swear in those of its members who he considered to be disloyal or pose a threat to his administration. At a particular point in time, cases were filed in court to declare their seats vacant. I recall vividly the very embarrassing report of situation where sand and gravel were deposited by thugs loyal to the governor in front of the House of Assembly in order to prevent members from gaining access to the building to perform their constitutional duties. At another time, the roofing sheets of the building were removed in commando style. Under a normal democratic practice, the legislature is supposed to perform certain oversight functions to conduct hearings and review the performance of the annual budget approved for the executive. It is to take practical steps to avoid waste and to expose corruption in all spheres of government. The House of Assembly of Edo State cannot do any of these as the vital institution has been rendered comatose by Governor Obaseki. Without any doubt, Edo State does not deserve a dictator in office, one who would alone decide the fate over 3 million people, one who would alone award contracts, pass his own laws in his own bedroom, make his own appointments in his parlor and execute them on his own projects according to his mood and feelings. In the 21st century, there is no place for such crude dictatorship and Stone Age rulership. It is amazing how the People's Democratic Party has been dancing openly in public without shame, claiming to play opposition politics and daily wrangling us with the supposed failings of the Buhari's administration when it is harboring a dictator in its fold. Is it not proper to first remove the log in your own eyes in order to enable you see the speck in another person's eyes? Is the PDP content to perpetuate a one-man rule in Edo State and in return expecting Nigeria to take it seriously and entrust the government of Nigeria to a group of power-mongering leaders who cannot even manage a single state effectively? Or has Governor Godwin Obaseki stopped attending meetings of PDP? The expectations of the drafters of our constitution is that every state will have a full-blown cabinet comprising commissioners and special advisors who will develop policies around their specific ministries based on their expertise and present the same before the cabinet for debate and final approval. In this regard, intellectual debates will flourish and ideas will contend, leading to very robust engagement for the good of the state. How can a single individual be the commissioner for works, commissioner for lands, housing, chieftaincy, affairs, local government, finance, agriculture, and so on? And if the House of Assembly has been gagged and rendered useless, what is the judiciary in Edo State doing? Where are the activists and the civil society organizations? Or are they also in convenance with the governor to rubbish the constitution? Are they part of the sinister plot to rule Edo State from the bedroom of one man? Where are the comrades from Edo State? What has become of the NGOs? And if all our comrades are complicit, what about lawyers and the Nigeria Bar Association or the NBA no longer promoting the rule of law in Edo State, the birthplace of his dynamic president? Pray, what is the palace saying about this? Edo State parades one of the most revered traditional institutions in our land. In the palace, is the palace comfortable with the self-imposed dictatorship? What about religious institutions? Are there no pastors and imams in Edo State again? Where Archbishop Idahosa once held sway. Can they not speak from their exalted pulpits? And if all these are silent, word of the student union. The Edo infamy has now been exported to Osun and Imo states where the governors are running riot in governance without regard to democratic principles. The constitution, in its section 1, has placed itself above individual or groups when it stated that the constitution is supreme and that its provisions shall have binding force on all authorities and persons throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria.